Shots fired. I wanna see the light. See the light. I wanna see the light.
Alright.
Sure.
Almost. 1 sec.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Season 63 SMJHL Entry Draft. Today, I am co-hosted by the lovely, beautiful B-Fine, or as many of you might know as Soda, the co-GM of the Edmonton Blizzard. Honestly, the excitement is palpable, even though it is over the internet. Definitely exciting. I'm back again. Unfortunately, we are only half of the hot boys. This time around, Granny could unfortunately, he was not able to make it. He may appear later. I do not know. But with that being said, we are ready to go. Bad Wolf, are you excited for the next season?
Really excited. This class has a lot to offer. It's a pretty good class. So I'm excited for this season.
Awesome. Well, the first pick is in, so we're going to jump right into it. Selecting first is the Detroit Falcons, and they have selected Moritz Seider at the right defenseman position by the user Trimpale. He is a first gen, and it looks like his weaknesses are going to be offensive, and his strengths will be defense. So already first off the block, a solid defensive skater. And I know that there's a couple of recreates in here, and I was thinking I kind of appreciate always seeing like first gens go first, because you see that these guys have, or like the GMs of the teams that usually pick first gens higher than recreates, like they put a lot of faith into these guys, and it's awesome to see, because when a first gen gets created and they see that, they think to themselves like, hey, these guys really trust me, and they like put a lot of faith into me, and now I'm gonna turn around and repay that. So but that's what do you think there, Soda?
That's a great first pick by Detroit. I believe Trimpale's big in one of the other sim leagues. I think he comes over to us from the ISFL, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's a great pick for sure. I enjoy the 12 and fighting. It's always good to see the goons come back. But Scotty, which, considering how big Scotty is in ISFL, that makes a lot of sense as a pick, and I think it's a great pick for Detroit right off the bat.
I agree. So right off the bat, my favorite segment of the draft is always and I get this from any of you that watch like college football or any kind of college sports, really. They get the way too early season predictions. Those are always my favorite bits to do because of the outlandish takes. But my actual favorite thing about the draft is announcing the picks, with this next one being Colorado. The Raptors have selected the number 2 pick. They've selected Binko Koivu. He is a recreate from Golden Glutes. He's a right D-man, and his strengths are checking and defensive read. His weaknesses are screening and hitting. So to me, I don't know about you, Soda, but he looks like he's probably going to build into an agile defenseman, probably a two-way defenseman, I'd say, because it looks like the way that at least I would picture it going is he's going to be very smart defensively. He's going to be able to see the ice quite well, and he's going to be able to react properly and quickly anytime something happens with him around.
Yeah, I was thinking two-way there. Glutes, obviously the Atlanta co-GM, so anytime you can get a GM, it's usually a pretty smart play to grab one, especially because they tend to go fast off the board. So again, a great move for Colorado. They have a knack for being able to grab good talent and make great players out of them. So I'm not surprised they're able to grab another one here. And Glut's last player lasted for a very long time, had a great career. So I'm sure this is going to be another one that falls in that footstep.
Yeah, and on the flip side of what I was saying earlier about seeing first gens come up, we see a recreate come up second, and usually, obviously, that's no surprise. Usually, recreates are gonna go high, just because of the fact that they've already established themselves as a decent earner, maybe even an outstanding earner, depending on whether you're me, who's decent, or anybody else who's better at earning than me.
It's always kind of that double-edged sword, right?
Yeah.
You could get a new great personality the league hasn't seen yet, or you could get someone that just goes inactive before the first season's even over. There's a little bit more of that security blanket with a recreate, but at the same time, you're getting kind of a known quantity. So I guess it just kind of depends on what you're looking for your locker room at that spot.
And I mean, you could unfortunately get, like a recreate who doesn't like finish his recreate, I guess. Like he gets burnt out, which I mean, always happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
I'm sure every GM here has seen it.
I mean, you could get a player like me who fizzled out his first player and then came back even stronger his recreate. So, but with that being said, the next pick is Anchorage, the number 3 pick. They select right wing Lord Zomp by the user Zomp. He is a recreate, and his strengths are offensive read and shooting accuracy. His weaknesses are shot blocking and face off. So again, another what's the word? A specialized player.
Yeah, we got us a
here
for sure. Yeah, what it looks like. Which I mean, every needs
absolutely.
Them, so.
But what can you tell me about Zomp? What do you know about Zomp?
I don't know much about Zomp personally, to be honest with you. But Anchorage is one of those teams always contending for a cup. So if they're making the pick, I trust them to be making a solid pick. Sure.
They got a good crew over there in Anchorage. I'm a little bit biased, obviously, having been born and raised there. But Carolina would tell you otherwise. They say it's fake news, but we don't listen to them.
Don't worry, my bias hasn't shown up yet. We'll get to that later.
I mean, so first, way early predictions. I don't know if you watch the J much. I know you're obviously very busy down there up there, I guess, in the majors. Who do you have? Who do you reckon's gonna do well?
I mean, here's the thing. You don't want to jinx it because Newfoundland, I'm sure I'm going to get Thunderdome, by the way, it doesn't matter. The Zerks are defending champions and didn't really lose a lot. They had a lot of 350 players on their roster that are now going to be 425s. They're going to be a scary team again next season. But at the same time, in the J especially, it is very, very difficult to go back to back, which is why you haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
So I think Carolina's still going to do solid, even though I know they've lost some big pieces. You can never count on Anchorage. And then the last one is Maine. Maine has been stocking up for a big cup run. I've seen the moves Toast has been making, and I would not be surprised to see Maine go deep in the playoffs this season.
Yeah, it would definitely be good to see some fresh teams that aren't, Newfoundland and Vancouver and Anchorage constantly in the playoffs, which, I mean, no offense. I mean, if you make it in, you make it in. I can't really be too upset because, the sim gods be fickle, but it's always nice to see some fresh teams get in there and get a shot. Because nobody likes to see the old Golden State Warriors, Cleveland Cavaliers 3 times in a row type thing. But what people do want to see, though, is the next pick. And that is Detroit, their second pick in the first round at number 4. they get right D-man Holden Steady. And he is created by Chicken Tots, which is a great name. That's a funny name. I like it. He's a first-gen player. His strengths are puck handling and checking. So it looks to me like Detroit is balancing out their sort of goon-esque acquisition and getting another D-man who's going to be going to have more of a focus on playmaking and play generating ability.
Yeah. It does seem much more like your typical two-way defenseman for sure. Great name, both username and player name. 10 out of 10.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's Detroit. I think everyone kind of knows struggled a bit last season, but now with Gaunter at the helm, I really think he's going to turn that team around, and it looks like he's already making great moves to get there.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a bummer because I did see Detroit kind of rebuilding, and it's kind of a bummer that Carolina got moved out of their division, because I was kind of looking forward to facing them again as they got better, because my only like quote unquote rivalry that I've kind of ever experienced or really ever paid attention to in this league was Carolina's and Detroit's, and mainly just because my locker room told me to, but no, it's obviously we're gonna have a good division. It's gonna be fun, but I will miss playing Detroit as often as we did. But congratulations to Holden Steady. You will hopefully do great things. So, speaking of rivalries, why don't you tell me sort of what your favorite or most notable rivalry is in the SHL?
It's even a question. Maine, Newfoundland. I always feel so bad for Toast. Every time. But watching the chop spam in the Zerg's locker room, the fact that it's, I think, is it 6 or 7 in a row now? It's a one-sided rivalry for sure. But it's like that inevitable thing where every time Maine gets into the playoffs, they hit the Zerg wall. And it's a good time. It was like my introduction to Sim Leagues was like a Newfoundland Maine series, and I haven't looked back since.
Yeah, that's Maine's a cool team. I like their theme song. It was actually, I think Maine's goal song was the first goal song that I had ever heard, and that kind of stuck with me. So good on you, Maine, I guess. But what I do know is the next pick is in from Quebec City, and they have picked the first goalie of the draft just in time. And he is a first-gen creation from Ramen or Ramen. I like the name, can't pronounce it very well, but congratulations.
I will say, as a goalie, I think Quebec might be the best destination. It's when they won their last cup, they had the goalie duo of Tyler Ward, so Hordle, who's as of now, I guess, part of the Edmonton goalie tandem. And then they also had Matt Smith, the cup-winning Chicago goalie. So I believe he might not have been on the cup team. He's Chicago's goalie. So they turned out two very good goalies very recently. Evok and Felix, of course, Evok herself having an amazing Hall of Fame goalie currently playing doesn't hurt. But it's a very, very, very good team. Quebec always churns out top-tier talent. One of the best spots. There's not a bad spot, but Quebec is a very great organization to be a part of. For
Yeah,
sure.
I've only heard good things about Evok, and maybe when I recreate in season 69, sorry Soda, when I recreate my goalie,
Not letting you recreate season 69.
maybe I'll go to Quebec and I'll beg to be drafted by Quebec, and they'll teach me the ways of the goalie. So only time will tell. I'm sorry, Seven, if you're listening out there somewhere. Hopefully he isn't too mad at me, but congratulations.
I'm literally.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot he's in the channel. Seven, everybody. He's in charge of the draft cards tonight. If we could get a big round of applause for Seven in chat. Beautiful. I loved it. I like it. So where do you think Vancouver is gonna stand? You know, having the D-Man of the year and the MVP on the same team coming back.
Well,
are they? Oh, I thought he was staying. Okay.
Yep. He is coming up to. I'm glad you know your own team so well, Jimmy.
Did you say my own team? I'm not a part of Vancouver.
No, Edmonton. He's coming up to
Oh,
Edmonton
is he?
next season.
Oh, I forget I'm part of Edmonton
Yeah,
sometimes, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I know. So they're losing Lev. I don't know who else they're losing. I haven't had a chance to check their roster recently, but they should still be a solid team. Dex is a genius when it comes to being a GM. There's a reason it was such a slam dunk pick when Vancouver came back open for the spot. And then Sven, Sven, I think, still the co for now. He also, knows FHM very well because he's done great with Great Britain as well. So Vancouver will be fine no matter what. They're never going to be a team that I see just dropping off the face of the earth, you know?
Yeah, I know for sure. Vancouver always seems to get like what's the best word? Like the superstars, I guess. At least from my couple of seasons here, or the last year or so that I've been in there, I see a lot of like superstar-esque players come out of Vancouver.
Although, speaking of superstars, I believe the Anaheim
It is in as well, and hopefully this next pick will become a superstar. And the next pick is by Anaheim, their first pick of the draft. They have selected Robert Bergen, and he's a recreate by nobody. He's a lefty man whose strengths will be passing and positioning. Looks like another two-way D-man. Speaking of nobody, I actually saw him in the Discord, Carolina Discord before earlier today. Congratulations, nobody. I've only known you for all of 3 seconds, but I hope you have a good time in Anaheim.
I've talked to him a little bit in the F1 Discord because he, even before he recreated, popped in there from time to time. Seems like a great guy. I believe he had some really solid players back in the day. So a great pick by Anaheim. It's Talls. Anyone that knows me knows I can't say a bad thing about Talls.
Well, I mean, of course now you're his GM. He'd ask to leave.
Well, and it's GM in both Japan and now Edmonton. He has come into the league so hot. He did the full rebuild of Anaheim, and they're starting to see the fruits of that come to life. That's another great ad on the list of great moves Talls has made to kind of reshape that Anaheim team.
Yeah, it's always good seeing Anaheim come up and recover from, I don't even know what to call it, from a couple seasons ago. So it's always great. Hold on just a second. But yeah, so I don't know much about nobody. I just know that he's well, what's the word, accepted in our Discord, I suppose. I mean, he essentially I think this is the first time he's ever spoken in the Discord, at least that I've noticed while I've been in the Carolina Discord. So for him to come back and say something after all that time and people just like immediately be like, yo, what's up? He's clearly got like a reputation, a good one at that. And he's clearly very well liked here. So it's excited to always see well liked people come back into the league.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so while we wait on this next pick coming in, how do you feel about how the WJC tournament went?
I feel like it went pretty well. I know that US had a very big turnaround, a very big comeback from where it looked like they might not even make the playoffs to go in to get a silver medal. I think that was, for me, I think that was the biggest story of the whole WJC.
Well, the biggest story of the draft, sorry to interrupt, we'll pick back up there, but the biggest story of the draft right now is the next pick, and that is by Nevada. And they have selected left D-man Chad Nickelback. I love that name. Already one of my favorites. Also by the username Flowsidon. That is also a pretty rad name as well.
And Flowsidon, a solid.
Yeah, I've seen his name around on the forums before, and only good things. So
this kind of seems like a steal for Jess and the rest of the Battleborn.
Yeah.
Incredible pickup. Let me see what kind of build. Oh, it looks like an offensive defenseman, which always valuable. They don't get created nearly as much as you would think. So when you can find a good one, it's great to have because it can be a huge asset to your team.
Which is evident because somehow I've managed to be held on to for as long as I have. So it's always nice to see that happen. But congratulations, Flowsidon. I'm going to remember that name now. Like, I'm going to think about that name, and I'm just going to be doing things and be like, that's a pretty sick name. But with that being said, yeah, back to the WJC. I was definitely really impressed with Finland's round robin play. They came in and almost swept the round robin. It was quite the feat to watch, to be honest. I was also really impressed with the Canadian Mrs. McSaves. She had an outstanding, stellar round robin as well. Unfortunately, Canada didn't go that far. Neither did Finland. The WJC tournament was honestly the tournament of upsets because you had the USA just barely squeaking by into the tournament to go and make it as far as they did, and then you had the British Isles beating Finland, who again was one of the favorites, and going all the way to the gold medal game and winning. And but shout outs to everybody that participated in that. And it was honestly a blast. Like the whole thing. Like that was my first experience like simming. Like that was my first like sim I don't even know what to call it, like tournament.
Well, you're gonna have a lot more fun with it.
But yeah, but no, it was just there was like yeah, it was a lot of fun, which I can expand more on later after I announce this next pick by Regina. And they have selected at number 8 Ashley Stubbs, the right wing by Wally. This is another recreate.
And another, that is GM Recreate number 2, I believe. Wally, yes. Wally, I think he was Calgary's co for a season, now the Toronto GM. I can't say enough good things about Wally. great user. He's been on the site for years. Last player was I believe a J Cup winning goalie with the Berserkers as well. While he's such a huge locker room man, especially for one of the newer teams with Regina. Jert, I couldn't even tell you how to say his actual username. Everyone just calls him Jert. One of my favorite people. He's doing a great job already in Regina. It's a great ad to a great team.
I like Jess's pronunciation, where she pronounces him Zert. Not really sure how we got there, to be fair, but I personally enjoyed it.
The smack that I see between Jess and Jert and like the IHF Discord is beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty great. But yeah, back to the WJC. I just wanted to make like kind of an announcement because I can't be bothered to make media posts. So it's not really an announcement, but I just wanted to say thanks for everybody that participated in it, especially Zodiac. I have to give big props to Zodiac. I don't know if he's watching, probably not, but he was a huge help, and the WJC kicked off into chaos almost immediately, and it never stopped. The entire ride was chaos, and to be honest with you, at some points I wanted off the ride, but I stayed on it, and it was a blast. It was kind of weird, like how there's just an energy there, like almost like I was back playing sports in high school, like a tournament where there's like a buzz there, and there's an energy where everybody gets excited, and I personally am excited for Maine's next pick, where they're picking at number 9, and they have selected. Oh wait, yes. It is Maine. They've selected left D Tam Bunnings by Das Boot.
Alright, I can pick this one. So Das Boot was a Maine pick in the season 50, I think it was 58 entry draft. He was in my draft class before. He had the goalie named Bloody Oath, which for many people that were in the J at the same time, he was blessed by the sim. He could take 50 shots and save 49 without a problem. His last goalie was insane. And I think kind of became a bit of a Timber legend because I know in Newfoundland we used to curse his name every time. He's a great user. Toast has only said great things about him. Looks like it's going to be another more offensive defenseman, which, as I said before, always a great ad to have on your team. It's a really, really, really solid pickup for Maine, for sure.
That's good to hear. Congratulations, Das Boot. Welcome back to Maine. So to continue what I was saying, and there's somebody in chat asking who's Zodiac. That's Dwayne Gretzky, the WJC commish. I just call him Zodiac because that's his Discord name.
Which is funny because I always call him Dwayne because
yeah,
I played with him.
I call him Zodiac because that's the name I had to look at for like 2 straight weeks. But it was a blast. Like thanks to the GMs. Like again, Dwayne or Zodiac handled it so well because like for the first like 6 days, like 5 GMs were MIA, and so it was absolute chaos. But we got it under control, and props to all the GMs: Mook, Murr, Miko, Brickwall, Jay, Droki, like everybody. Like it was a blast, and like that energy there. Like I can't wait to do it again. I hope I get asked back to sim the WJC again. And my top WJC moment, and I think I told you about this, and I tried to tell everybody about this. I think it was round robin day 3. British Isles and Finland played 3 times in that day, or like that sim sesh, and all 3 times they went into a shootout, and it was the most chaotic, amazing thing I have ever seen. And I hope we can replicate it like next tournament. It was great. I love it. Yeah, and Big Mac says, who is my streaming partner, the awesome dude. He made some pretty sweet graphics. He says we're gonna sim until Zodiac gets bored of us. So I don't know how long that'll be, but I do know how long it is till the next pick, and it is right now. And it is Kelowna selecting Mikael Jakobsen. That's how I'm gonna pronounce it. He's a left winger, and it is a recreate from Benak Kok. And his strengths are getting open and puck handling, and his weaknesses are screening and passing.
Not a user I'm familiar with, but Kelowna is another one that tends to make a lot of very smart picks. I think this is another one. On the subject of Kelowna, I want everyone, if they can find Benjamin, to wish him a happy birthday.
Yeah.
Because it's his birthday today.
Yeah.
But Artemis, I think he's the new co-GM. He is a guy I go back and forth with a lot. I think it's kind of spread through the league, like me and him going back and forth with the whole Japan-Czechia deal.
Yeah.
I say it a lot, but Artie is truly one of my favorite people on this entire site. The passion he has for the league as a whole, the international side of it, I fully see him bringing that to the J and just making the SMJHL a better place, not just for Kelowna, but for everybody. He is one of those people that you just always want to be around. He has so much information. I could ramble forever about how much I love Artemis. I really could. It's fun when we beat Czechia because it happens all the time. But at the same time, Kelowna's always one of those teams that's going to be contending, and I think that's just another good pickup for them.
Artemis is I didn't know that was Artemis. That's actually kind of funny. Artemis is a funny person. I enjoy reading what they have to say in the J Discord, and I also enjoy the profile picture quite a lot. So it's a lot of fun. Maybe we could even potentially get Artemis in here if they are available. But with that being said, I want to ask Chat, who do you think is going to win the next 4-Star Cup? You've already got the picks from me and Soda. So I want to hear what you guys have to say. And so we've got Kelowna from James, obviously. Again, as B Fine said, if you guys did not hear him, it is James's birthday today. So if you could find him in your respective Discords, please do wish him a happy birthday. Even DM him. If you need his DMs, let me know and I will send them to you. I will send you his Discord. So we want to wish him a happy birthday. We don't want him to feel left out or anything. So... But let's play pick a random GM. Let's ask the chat. Also, another chat interaction question. Which GM would you guys like to hear from?
Can I
pick? Sure.
I mean, I'm my favorite. Wait, are you talking GM? Because, I mean, they're already stuck hearing from, like, the worst SHL GM.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a SHL GM you want to pick and they want to come in and talk,
Well, the GM I want to most hear from is Seven. Hi, Seven.
You're not real busy right now.
Yeah. Aren't they all?
Yeah, Seven's in charge.
All
right, well, we might actually get the St. Louis GM in on here. Hopefully, if he's around. I think he's around.
Man, if we could get Sparky.
Wouldn't that be great? Sparky's a pretty cool dude.
I love Sparky. Yeah, I'll gush over him when we get to St. Louis's first pick.
Yeah.
but I believe Colorado.
Colorado is up next. The pick is finally in. We are good to go, and so is Colorado, having picked the left wing Evan Winter. Well, this is quite the name.
Romanis Indome. Everyone calls him Red.
Okay.
He had like a season. What was it? Season 43 that played like basically his whole career on Los Angeles. Red's great. No one. I have yet to meet a single person in the SHL that has a bad word to say about Red. Another very, very, very good recreate user. Seems to be building a bit of a more physical kind of two-way defenseman or forward. Sorry, I saw the L and I thought LD. A bit more of a two-way forward, which if anyone knows FHM, it's always a great build to have is two-way. Great user, great pick for Colorado. This whole first round has just been hit after hit so far.
Yeah. It's there are a lot of recreates that I don't know much about, which is why I have you in here, fortunately, because a lot of these guys are reaching the ends of their careers after they have been in for a while. Like even with my first create from a year ago, they have like they were still kind of in their prime, kind of leaving their prime. So I still probably wouldn't have known much of them unless they were in the Carolina Discord. But it's good to hear that that Red is well liked, and we have another good recreate. And speaking of great recreates,
of course,
my personal favorite name in the entire draft was selected by Vancouver. And the 12th pick of the draft, it is the right D-man backup goaltender. But
which is, by the way, like the most Romanov name I can
it really
think of.
is, and it's pretty great. Obviously, everybody knows Premier Romanov. He's
like one of the most.
Oh, without a doubt. Like he has he has a unique personality, you know, from what the year that I've spent in the Carolina Discord with him. He has a quite, like, it's unique. Like it's for me personally, it's fun to be around. I know that he can rub off on certain people a certain way, a not good way, but for me personally, and I know a lot of people in the Carolina Discord and just across the server all enjoy him being around.
I think him going to Van was like one of the easiest picks to probably make if you're doing a mock, with Sven being his co-GM for the UK Fed. And I know that they're, very close. I think possibly even outside of the Sim League. So
yeah,
it's a great pickup. Bromanov's last player hit 2K. It's an offensive defenseman, which is exactly what Sven built, so he knows how to build a successful one. It's another great pick for Vancouver. So what we were saying before about how they're always contending, it's because they're able to get picks like this.
Yeah, they have drafted incredibly well. Also, a little fun fact for those of you out there that don't know, Bromanov's first player name in this recreate was actually a bunch of characters in parentheses set up in a specific way to look like a crab. And that was just going to be his name. Like, it was going to be nothing else. That was going to be his name. Unfortunately, the sim does not like that. So he had to change it to backup goaltender, which again I think is quite, like, it's quite the name, and I like it.
The sim barely likes my name. I'm not surprised it crashed like the second that someone just did a bunch of characters.
So that being said, the next pick is up from St. Louis. This is another great name. They have selected the left wing Outdoor Truck by the recreate from Snoo Snoo. He is a puck handling and checking left winger, so he's going to probably be a power forward, I would have to assume.
I believe so. So Snoo, his last player was Zerk. I know Snoo pretty well. He hangs out a good amount, even after he kind of went IA a bit. So like since I joined it, but he's come back. He's coming back strong. Great pickup. Great guy. Always a very good time with Snoo for sure. I think as a J pick, especially, Snoo is a great pickup. A huge grab.
Yeah. And here to tell us about the pick is the man himself, the St. Louis GM, Sparky. Sparky, what kind of like, I guess, hope, I suppose, are you looking for out of him?
Yeah. So, sorry if you hear any weird background noise. I'm holding my little baby, so it's just ignore that. But yeah, Snoo. I'm in a lot of discords with him, and I talked to him for a little bit today, and I already knew what he gives when he when he's in the sim league, and like you guys said, power forward. That's what I was when I first came in, and I love his build for that reason. We need a guy down low to deflect pucks in, and I think he's going to be great for us in the future. So,
well, there you have it. Congratulations, Snoo. You have a great reputation, and here's to hoping you guys do well. Thank you, Sparky.
Thank you, Sparky.
Yeah, thank you guys.
So, we have a trade in the works, folks. When it gets announced, when it gets finalized, I will let you guys know what it is.
There's always some kind of trade in the works, you know.
What do you think is your, and it doesn't have to be Jay. It can be a SHL draft as well. What do you think has been the I guess wildest like trade up or down that you have seen?
That I've seen? I don't know any crazy. There have been a lot of crazy pick trades. I think I'll bring up the classic because he just went there again. If anyone remembers the old McZerl to Minnesota trade for 3 firsts and a second, that one's kind of just gone down in SHL history as one of the wildest trades. And I don't think you've ever seen it again where you get 4 picks for a single player. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that went into that, but the McZ trade for sure is like the first thing I thought of when you said that. Well,
the first thing that I thought of was actually this pick that is happening now, and it is the Newfoundland Berserkers have selected Luca Hunziker by Dangles 13. He is a right demon recreate. His strengths are hitting and puck handling. His weaknesses are screening and face-offs. So it looks like Newfoundland has selected a, I'd say probably a physical playmaker if I had to make a guess.
That's what it looks like. I will do my best to keep my personal biases in check here. But Ham and Yosh have a way of just finding incredible players all throughout the draft. They hit on their top picks, they hit on their bottom picks. It's honestly kind of amazing. Dangles he was a DFA with Newfoundland last season. I know they were big on bringing him back. I'm glad they were able to. He's going to be an incredible player for the Zerks. Very much. The Zerks, I feel especially, are good at getting defensemen and turning them into solid SHL players. just recently, like some of the ones I can think of. You got Billy Brooks on Buffalo, Pasta. Oh my God, why did my brain just decide to shut off all of a sudden? Those are just two off the top of my head. My brain just froze for a second. But Dangles is a great add to the Zerks for sure. Again, following the trend of really strong recreates at the top of this draft.
Yeah. So, for me personally, the craziest thing. Oh, actually, since we're here, somebody in chat has asked you to explain the McZ trade.
Okay. Oh God. Okay. I wasn't around for it, but if anyone knows, I just dig through like old threads on the site from time to time because I like learning like the league history. So the McZ trade, Chris McZearl, the user, who actually just went back to Buffalo in this past SHL draft, he wanted to be a GM. If anyone knows, Buffalo has wannabe Fenn and Toman, who are two of the best GMs in site history, and they weren't looking to go anytime soon. So he was traded to Minnesota for 3 first-round picks and a second-round pick, and ended up not getting the Minnesota GM job. So I don't know how long he was there before he left in free agency, but it wasn't that long. So he basically gave up 4 picks for what felt like a rental.
Yeah.
And kind of tanked Minnesota to the point where now Muted is getting them back into competition just now because it hurt them for that long. It's a legendary trade in the SHL for sure.
Yeah. Well, and another legendary thing is this pick by Detroit. The first pick of the season 63 round 2 is John Patty. He's a right D-man out of Minnesota Duluth. No, I'm just kidding. He is a first gen player. He is also created by the user, John Patty. His strengths are positioning and passing, and his weaknesses are screening and face-offs. So it looks like another playmaking right D. We seem to have we've seen a lot of those.
Yeah. Offensive demon flying out. I mean, we've had a good couple recent drafts, so it's been a lot more defensive demon coming in. So I'm kind of glad to see the scales tilt the other way.
Yeah. For those of you D-men out there that are first gens, 2-ways are very good. If you follow in my footsteps and Fisherman's footsteps, 2-way D-men do particularly well. So it's always good to see more of them.
Yeah, that was a great pickup. I don't particularly know the user, but like I said earlier, Scotty's going to do great things.
Yeah. So we have in here with us now is the co-GM to Ragnar or Swagnar, who is the GM of Anchorage, to talk about their third pick, their number 3 pick, the right wing Lord Zomp, who is the recreate.
Yeah,
we can.
Right?
Yep.
Great. I'm Blues. We moved up from 13 because we lost in the Cup Finals. We got swept. That sucked. But we were originally hoping to get Glutes. Zump was our backup. And I'm honestly really happy we got him. I played with him in New England before I got traded, and we know he built a really good player with Ethan Price. He told us he was going to be a max earner, and he's going to be a big guy in RLR because we needed someone who could talk a lot, and we know we can do that.
Awesome.
So that's his old player, so I did know him. All right, that's on me. Sorry, Zomp.
Awesome. Well,
but yeah, good pick up there by Anchorage.
Congratulations on the pick.
We're super stoked to have him.
So, we have another Sparky pick from St. Louis. It is the second goalie, I think, right? Yeah, I think it's the second goalie of the draft. It is that name is cut off.
Joshua Corcantwich.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would assume it's gonna be the username as well. The first gin creation by Joshua Corcantwich. That is quite the last name. Almost feels like northeastern U.S. kind of New England-esque last name. So he'll fit right in St. Louis. So I don't know if Sparky is around to talk about his pick. He is.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. I'm sorry. This has happened actually very fast. Him and I started talking about a couple hours ago before the draft, and we hit it off very well, in my opinion. And he's super excited to be learning how to play, do the sim league. So, and I was once a new gen, as we all were, and I just got a lot of good vibes with him, and I'm super excited to have him on the team. We needed a goalie. Ours retired unexpectedly, and now he's going to take over between the pipes, and hopefully we can get some wins with him.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, Joshua. You have been drafted to a great team with a great GM. I am saying that of my own free will. I am not being held against my will by my streamer boss, and I am not contractually obligated to compliment Sparky once a day. So,
I think anyone in any sim league's kind of contractually obligated to at this point.
Apparently, according to chat, it is Blue's birthday. So happy birthday, Blues.
Oh, happy birthday.
So for those of you that do not know, that is the
Coach GM
Yep. So congratulations on your birthday. You lived another year. Here's to another one, hopefully alive.
I do want to give like a quick thing. So while we wait for the next pick, because it's something Soap when he was hosting this did a lot. Anyone that's kind of still out there waiting, just have patience. You're gonna go where you're meant to go. It's gonna be a great spot no matter what. I sat there watching the TV for 2.5 hours before I went for my J draft. I was 47th overall. Like him, he didn't say it, but it's basically I was kind of a throwaway pick because I was a late create that like didn't really do anything in the first week before the draft. And I ended up as a cup-winning captain and now a GM. So your draft position doesn't define your career. You'll be able to do great things with the work you put into it. And if you're seeing yourself maybe tumble more than you thought, just be patient. You're going to end up in a great spot. You're going to end up where you want, and it's all going to work out.
I agree. And I'll speak more on that as well after I announce Anaheim's next pick. With their pick, they have selected the right D-man, Michael Charles, by the user Miss Streffy1 or Miss Strafe or M Streffy, whatever it is. He's a first gen. His strengths are positioning and defensive read. So a very defensive D-man, it looks like. His shooting accuracy is at 9 though. So, and that's kind of high for a rookie J player. So maybe we're,
especially as a rookie J defensive defenseman.
We might be looking at the creation or the beginnings of a two-way player. So
yeah, it's a Tall's pick. I trust it. You'll never get me to not trust what Tall is doing. It seems like a great ad. It's obviously I don't know them because it's a first gen, but Anaheim's a great spot. Welcome to the league.
Okay.
You have a great GM in Talls. Please lean on him for everything that you need.
Yeah, for sure. And going back to what B Fine was saying, I agree completely. When I first created my player, I think I was like one of the last players to get drafted. I think 7 could probably tell you more accurately because I actually didn't watch the draft. I forgot it was happening and didn't even find out I got drafted till like 2 days later. And I'm pretty sure I was like one of the last picks. And even then, it didn't get better because I ended my player, or I had to retire my player early. And I came back with a recreate and got picked almost last again by Carolina again. So, now look, and then even then in the SHL, I was like one of the later picks in the draft because people like to say, oh, you went in like the 3rd round or whatever, but second round, but it was a small draft. So, I mean, it only went to like 3 rounds, right?
That's kind of how most of them go. They barely made it to 2 on the list.
So but yeah, Be Fine here took a chance on me, and now look at me. I'm simming in 2 different leagues, a WJC tournament, and now running the draft. So I bought in, thanks to my pretty cool GMs, 7 and Be Fine.
Although the funny part is I wanted to take Emerald over you, but San Francisco.
Oh, thanks for that. I appreciate that. I'm glad. I am just now finding this out, but you know what else we're just now finding out is Anaheim's next pick, and it is the goalie Ines Gundogan or Gundogan.
So that's okay. It's Gundor. I believe that is the name of. I don't know if he's still on Man City, but he's a German soccer player or footballer, depending on what part of the world you're from. AW, I can knock this out real quick. AW is a great user, very active in other sim leagues. It's just another slam dunk for Talls. Really, really, really strong pick. I don't think, because I think Anaheim really did need a goalie, so this is like a perfect positioning spot too. Talls knows how to build a good goalie. AW is going to be, I'm sure, a monster in both the J and the SHL, for sure.
Oh, good. It looks like Anaheim is gearing up to be a solid contender, but
yeah.
Back to what you said. I'm just now finding this out. I feel a little betrayed, to be honest. Because what happened if you hadn't have drafted me? I feel like I probably wouldn't have been drafted. I don't know about that, man. But not bad enough to take me in the first round. Trade away from me.
Not only because of nepotism. Well, we traded down, and then I almost made the nepotism pick, but then she went IA, so it kind of worked out.
Oh, yeah, kind of. I appreciate that. Thanks. I appreciate being the sloppy seconds.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Don't ever call me up again. Don't call me up. Keep me down in Carolina.
You called us, to be fair. Sorry.
But the next pick is in.
No,
it is Quebec City, and they have selected the right D Bender by
nice.
McGriddle Lover. There's a recreate. I love that username, dude.
Yeah, that's McGriddle Lover, another long-time SHL user, another solid recreate, another great pick for Quebec. I don't know how they managed to hit on like almost every pick they make. I don't know what Evok and Felix are doing over there, but I need to figure it out. McGrill Lover's a great user. That's a really, really solid add to what's already a really solid locker room in Quebec. Let me look at the strengths here. Passing, so it looks like another offensive defenseman, which I don't know how that's become the trend, because everything I've seen is that people are saying that defensive D is the meta, but we're seeing a lot of offensive defensemen go here. Which, if that's a new meta, I'm all for it, because I think offense is more fun than defense, personally. Ignore that I have a power forward. But, that's an absolute great pick. McGrill over to Quebec is just a slam dunk all the way around.
Yeah, that's I personally like their username. McGriddles are great. They are very good. I feel disgusting after eating them, but during the time I'm eating them, they're great.
I don't care. It's so good.
That's fair. Yeah, so I have my trade back in what we were talking about earlier. My peak, like, crazy trade was last season, actually, where and I don't know if Bad Wolf has ever been told this before, if she even knows this is a thing, but Carolina, I think we were sitting somewhere in, like, between the top 10 and top 20. I don't remember exactly, but Bad Wolf was up and she was a recreate, and we as in, like, the entirety of the Kraken roster begged Seven. We were like, do whatever you can with, like, whatever you have to bring Bad Wolf, like, to get the first spot. I even offered myself up. And, like, usually I meme whenever I offer myself up, but I was completely serious. I was like, Seven, if it gets us into the first spot and gets Bad Wolf onto Carolina, like, where it would, like, she would be, like, adored by everybody, like, get rid of me if you have to. I don't know how he did it, though, but he was able to keep me and most of our, like, major pieces and bring Bad Wolf on. But, like, the amount of, like, just, like, hype that emanated when that first pick was announced, and that's what a lot of the memes are about Seven taking forever, because one of them that reinforces that meme was what happened last time. It took Seven, like, an extra, like, 5 minutes after the draft started to work that trade out. But when it happened, like, the entire Discord blew up. Like, everybody got so hyped that we were able to pull that off and get Bad Wolf onto the team. So that's definitely my, like, peak hype trade moment. So
I'd have to, before this, because I know the next pick is in, I'll have to double check with Ham, or maybe Juke. One of them will know. Whatever trade they made the season before got them the pick that got me, and I think Pasta. And I would have to ask, because, like, normally when you chuck, like, a third and a fourth rounder, you don't expect it to turn into much, but to get two, like, not to toot my own horn of it, but to get two really good players out of a third and a fourth rounder kind of skewed that trade more than I think anyone expected.
Yeah. But you know what everybody else doesn't expect is the next pick by Regina. Or they could expect it if they can tell the future. But they have drafted the right wing Dan King by the first gen user Motion. Congratulations, Motion. We have another winger who is proficient in getting open and passing, and his weaknesses are shooting range and shot blocking. So it might look like we have, like, a scrapper that will sit in front of the net.
Oh, I was thinking playmaker.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned passing. I just completely blanked and thought passing was screening because I can't read.
Nope. Yeah, that's going to be a playmaking winger, which is very, very, very good to have, because I don't think enough people make playmakers, honestly.
I'm Jimmy. I'm 25 in 3 days, and I never learned how to read. But congratulations, Motion.
No, it's...
Yeah, what were you going to say?
Regina's a great spot. Regina is an absolutely great
spot.
What
were you saying before I interrupted you?
I don't
Lovely.
remember.
Perfect. That's how we do it here.
This is your brain on Edmonton.
It really is. You just, like, once you hit Edmonton, you kind of just get subjected to,
I want to give a shout out to Ty there for telling me to starve and dehydrate myself every day. Clearly, I'm taking that one to heart. We do a little bit of trolling in Edmonton. A little bit. But thank you, me cool. So yeah, the what were we talking? I just had a mind blank too. That's the worst. I don't know. I've forgotten. I've had a mind blank. But well, in the meantime, let's go to.
Yep, it just came up, and it is Quebec City. Another Quebec City pick, Riley Versey.
Nice.
The Roop Hits effect.
That name.
That's a good one.
All right, so as a Stars fan, I love
Yeah.
this pick. Hey, this is a slam dunk pick for sure. I could not tell you. I mean, it's a first gen, but like Roop Hints, come on, stop it.
Stinky Dallas, dude. Colorado all the way.
So let's see, puck handling and offensive. So maybe more. I'm trying to see what kind of build. Low screening, so probably maybe more like a dangler is my guess. At least up front, but more of an offensive forward for sure. Which dangler's very, very useful. Very good build to have. So I respect it. Seems like a great pick from Quebec, which how many times can that be said over the past however many seasons?
Yeah. But I do have a question though for Evok and other Quebec City members. I do have a question. Is that owl? Is that a male owl or a female owl? That's just a random question. I'm just curious. I want to know.
I'm sure either Portal or Mur or one of them are watching.
Well, I know Evok's in the chat. She keeps yelling at me to hurry up, even though I know she's not paying attention because she's playing Yahtzee instead of coming in here and contributing to our good GM chats. But yeah, anybody out there that knows the answer to that, please enlighten me. I would definitely like to know. I do remember what I was going to talk about though before this pick came in. We have not seen a single center yet.
No, that's a good point. So you can kind of, the league kind of works and FHM kind of works. You can just kind of take a winger, dump points into face-offs, and make him a center. That's really the only difference. Like, I don't believe, and I could just be a bad GM to be honest, but like
it's likely.
I don't believe there are penalties for playing like a center on the wing or a wing at center. But it is interesting that no one's created it specifically as a center. I mean, people play opposition all the time. I'm a right winger. I like exclusively played on the left. So. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know where they're all at, but what I do know is the next select is
this is a good pick too.
Is Regina, and it is a goalie in the bag. And it is by SO2264, and he is a recreate. And actually, SO spent a good chunk of time in our Discord recently, and he is a funny dude. And
SO is another good older, I believe he's been around for a while, an older SHL user. I love SO. I really do.
Yeah, that's
a great
that's a good pick. I know. Like we would have liked to have him back in Carolina, especially as a goalie. But nonetheless, it is good to see him get drafted, and I hope he does well in Regina until we play him.
Jared's gonna do well with him for sure.
But congratulations, SO. I also love his profile picture. It's that goofy bird from Pokemon.
Yeah, it's the Nazi, right?
Dude, I don't know, man.
Yeah. Okay. Pokemon's my thing. It's not too wearing sunglasses.
I only know the legendaries.
Yeah, this draft seems like it's going pretty well so far. I mean, we're 22 picks down. Some of these drafts have definitely crawled, so I am glad that picks are flying. Because it seems like, and I could just be, well, I guess it's been like an hour. Okay. Time doesn't feel real when you're doing it.
It really doesn't. It feels like I've been here for all of like 20 minutes, to be fair.
Yeah, right?
It's kind of weird.
That's just because you're such a good guy,
thanks, dude. Now give me a Supermax. Then I'm leaving. I'm going to Calgary. You heard it here first.
Whatever.
Going to Calgary.
Izzy, if you want to sign up.
What do you mean good luck? I'm a great asset to
You know
have.
what I mean.
You know who else is a
Oh.
great asset? Is the asset that Maine just selected, and that is the goalie random Adam Rage by the user Mr. Mom.
Mr.
First gen
Mom.
goalie.
Which, pretty sure Mr. Mom's
I
a
think it
movie,
is.
right?
But to be honest,
Yeah.
actually, when I read that, the first movie that came to mind was the Pacifier movie with Vin Diesel.
That's fair. Is Mr. Mom okay? Mr. Mom's. I was thinking the Hulk was, or not the Hulk. Hulk Hogan was in some kind of movie like that, but I don't think it was Mr. Mom.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Anyway.
sure.
So it seems like another goalie. So Maine currently has. So he's going to be the backup to Rusty Ramal, who is a Edmonton prospect, who I believe is only going to be down in Maine for one more season. So a great pickup by Toast. Perfectly fits the needs of Maine. And looks like Mr. Mom, welcome to the league, first of all. But the way that Toast is doing it right now, you're going to have a good chance of winning a cup in your first season. So
Yeah, here's to hoping that doesn't happen because Carolina needs to win before I leave.
I think the Zerts really need another one.
I don't know about that. Honestly, 7 has brought the light to my eyes, and I feel like I might be cursed. We have yet to win a cup since I've been drafted. Even my first character has been drafted in what, season 57? I think my first character. No, season 52. I think was when my first character was drafted.
52. That's old.
But either way, like, we have not won a cup since then. So am I a problem in the league, in the locker room? Probably.
Yes.
So
Yes. No, that's a great. Newfoundland memes a lot on Maine, but we meme out of love. I don't think Maine always sees it as memeing out of love.
Do you?
Yes, listen. Toast is great. I have never once had a bad thing to say about Toast. And there's a lot of people that come out of that Maine team that I'm a big fan of. Nate's in there. Kyle Sutton came out of there. We have Sly there now. Maine is great. Part of me feels bad at the fact that we beat them like 7 times in a row in the playoffs. But, like, we beat them out of love, I guess, you know? It's unfortunate. And I know Maine, like, the second Maine doesn't have to come up against us in the playoffs, they're going to end up winning the cup. I just already know that's how it's going to work.
Yeah. Well, you know what I do know what works is 7 and his GM Magic having traded for the 24th pick.
Wait, did we miss
No,
a
this
trade?
is like just not happening. This next pick is a trade. It is the Kelowna has traded their 24th pick for Carolina's 25th pick, so they're just spot swapping. And then Kelowna gets Carolina's season 65 third, whichever pick is lower between Kelowna or Carolina. And that's the swap happening. But with that pick, Carolina has select Berenstain McSnorkel, the left wing from Bear 43, first gen. His strengths are getting open and puck handling. His weaknesses are face-offs. However, he does have a 7 in checking, so he decided to bump that up a little bit. So again, we might see the development of a potential 2-way, maybe power forward.
7, what do you got for us?
What you want to know, baby?
How were your talks with Bear when you were scouting him?
Oh, Bear was great. I obviously, with everything that I do in this, and being one of the unlucky people who has to work at a hospital during a pandemic, I haven't really scouted much during the week. So I hit him up today. I had good talks. They seemed really engaged with how the league looked, what the depths of like the community and the friendships involved in everything. They were super just really interested in the social aspect of the league, which obviously most of us really value as JGMs, and I wanted to get them in Carolina. There was a pause in the draft order as people were talking, like making trade talks, and I kind of rang alarm bells. I was like, I don't really want to get sniped here. So I hit up Kelowna. I was like, hey, who's ever trying to get in front of me, don't let that happen. Worked out the trade. Made sure I got my guy.
Well, there you have it first from the man himself, the sleeveless wonder. Welcome to Carolina, Bear. If you're in chat, I personally am excited to have you. I always like seeing you guys come in, and I always enjoy seeing them stick around. So here's to hoping you don't get drafted by Edmonton, though, next season, so you don't have to deal with Be Fine.
You're going to be GM.
You're going to be GM. You're not leaving. It's like the Evok curse. You're not leaving. Nobody's going to take your spot. Nobody wants to. They feel bad. Oh, Talls is here.
Hi, Talls.
Hey.
Welcome, Talls. Since we've got you here, let's ask you about your number 6 pick, the Robert Bergen lefty from nobody. What was your hopes or ideas there?
Essentially, in our talks and after talking to some of the older people on the team, it makes sense that he's coming back when he is, and that he'll definitely be a character in the locker room, on top of the fact that he will perform really well if he wants to reach those goals that we discussed in our scouting messages. So it was the safe pick at the time. We needed defense really bad, and I think we did a good job fixing it.
Well, there you go. We do have the next pick in. Thank you, Talls, by the way. We do have the next pick in. It is Kelowna, and they select Gaunter De Brusk, who's a recreate left winger from Los Angeles. His strengths are stick checking and balance, and his weaknesses are screening and shooting range.
Not a user I'm familiar with, but again, like I said earlier with Kelowna, I trust what they're doing. Stick checking and balance is. I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
that seems more like a grinder,
like I was gonna say that.
It looks like we're going with screening and shooting range low. This seems like we're going for like the physical, like back checking grinder kind of type player, which not one you see a lot, but one that is surprisingly effective if you do it right.
We could potentially also see, because we don't know what his like stamina and speed are at, we could be looking at a very aggressive forechecker as well. Because with the balance and stick handling, he's very agile and can react on the forecheck.
Those are just kind of key stats that are always good to have. Very versatile, and versatility will only get you far.
It's definitely interesting to see those two skills up at 13, because 13 is generally considered the highest you want to go in the J. Because again, you are capped at 450, and if you're putting things into 425, you're correct. If you're capped there, you don't have all of the points in the world to spend. So put it up there.
Seems like a good pickup. Welcome to the league. Enjoy Kelowna. Make sure you tell James happy birthday.
Absolutely. And I have been legally required contractually to apologize for knocking Kelowna out of a sweep, or out in a sweep in the season 62 playoffs. So I do apologize.
There's no need to apologize to our
I also do need to clarify, this is also in my contract, that it will happen again. So I do apologize, Kelowna. But next, what I do not apologize about is announcing the next pick and it is the Maine Timbers selecting Mads McBride, a recreate from NJ Bad Apple, whose strengths are shooting accuracy and screening. His weaknesses are checking and hitting.
So we got one that's going one right in front of the net. A great build to have in FHM. Nutri's bad. So not one a user I personally know, but from what I've heard around the league, they're great. Toast does tend to like, since he's a site old himself, does like to gravitate towards some of the other site olds. Like I know he wanted the Habs fan from Ontario last season before Newfoundland got him. Only for him to bring him to San Francisco anyway. But it's another very solid Maine pick. He's going to be a guy that I think sticks around that team for a while and does a lot of great things. Toast once again killing it in the draft.
Yeah.
It's really there hasn't been like any bad pick this draft.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I know what you mean. Because a lot of the first gens have been selected pretty high. And so basically after that you've got the recreates who have already proven themselves.
Exactly.
So, I feel like this is a very safe draft. There's not a lot of like chances being taken.
Correct.
So, but the Anchorage Armada and Regina have passed their picks. So the next one coming up.
They definitely haven't, because we're about to get
They
to the
haven't?
next pick.
Okay, well,
Jimmy,
I'm reading the
God.
channel that's telling me that they've picked. All right, I can't read all 8 channels where everybody's talking all the time. Let me be. Like the channel here says post if you're passing, and the next pick is, or.
Well, you're going,
Dude, listen, I'm not going ahead. Like it literally says right here, like. After this pick, Anchorage is passing. All right, so, but I guess they're not. So, Anchorage has picked, the first center of the draft.
And the least, I know I said Bromanov's the least surprising pick of the draft. I forgot he recreated for this. This is the least surprising pick of the draft, and it's not.
What makes you say that?
Because it's Askeladd. All right, so Askeladd, Philadelphia GM. Former Anchorage GM, I believe his logo, like his site profile picture, is still the Anchorage logo of some variety. He is, like, the father of that entire Anchorage Armada team.
His title on the site's also Boats Forever, something like that.
I think it's Migo Boats or something that. Yeah, he bleeds Anchorage.
Funny time for me to join, being his historic co.
Oh, hi, Artie.
Yes, I'm here to roast a fan, but also.
Here we go. Alright, so. No, Askeladd. I mean, it's a great pick. Rex Kirkby lasted for like almost 20 seasons. Very possibly a Hall of Famer. Very likely a Hall of Famer. He's doing a great job jamming Philadelphia. It's not a new add to the locker room, but like when it's the guy that basically created it, you add him, you know? It's a great pick by Anchorage. It's a slam dunk, and this late too. That's value-wise maybe the best pick of the draft.
Yeah. So, Artemis, since I guess you're here. You got anything interesting to say?
Well,
here we go. Listen, before we get into it, Kelowna really has done a great job this draft. I will say that much.
what pick are we at?
We are.
So far, we just lost 27.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, our first trade has already been announced.
Yeah. But
I
you
say
guys, so you
first, but
took
only.
two first gens, yeah? No, Lisan's
No.
was a recreate.
Ben
Sorry.
is Ben is recreate. He and I go way back.
Got it.
No, it was pretty fun. Bana was our number 2 heading into this draft, so it was very nice to see him drop.
Yeah, when you got him at 10, that's a steal then for you.
Yeah. To make things even more fun with that trade, a little insider info, it was actually Detroit who initiated those talks for 24.
Interesting.
And Carolina jumped in very quickly because they didn't want to get leapfrogged. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Oh, Artie, if there's anything you can get out of Artie, it's information. I don't know how many times we'd finish a race and you're just like, here's the entire history of the IIHF. Let's go.
Yeah. No, I'm a
Let me
fact
tell you
when it
about
comes to
Venezuela.
WHF. Let me tell you about how the Czechs are gonna beat Japan.
Let me tell you about how we beat
Let me
the
tell you guys
Turtle.
first the next pickup, and it is by Vancouver,
Okay.
and they have selected left wing Wesley Sorensen by the user Bosted. He's a first gen, and his strengths are screening and defensive read. So it looks like we have another. Oh, his shot blocking and faceoffs are also at 7. So maybe we're looking at another beginning of another two-way player. But for now, he definitely looks like he's going to be a screener or a power forward even, or two-way.
I mean, screener and power forward are both great to have. Obviously, it's another first gen, so I don't know them personally. But I trust Vancouver. As I said before, Vancouver drafts very, very, very well. And I'm sure this is going to be another in a long line of great first gens. Following the likes of Sven, Tater, Lev. Ignore that I just named all the Edmonton ones, but Vancouver's a great spot to go. Dex is another one I can't say enough about as a 2-time Japanese gold medalist. He's great.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
For Bosted, as you're welcome to the league, you end up in one of the best J teams to be a part of.
Yeah. So, also, funny enough, we went to high school with a guy with the last name Sorensen. Probably not the same person, though. Anyways, back to what you guys are talking about. Does Czech even have a team?
Yeah. Yes, they do. They've been around. Are they one of the originals?
The originals
They
of
originally were
this iteration.
Yeah, because they're originally Czechoslovakia and then they
Oh.
split.
So
And no one
history
ever created
lesson.
Slovakia.
Actually, yeah, it came to the point where we only had one created in Czechoslovakia. So as commish, ironically, since I helped found the team, I'm like, okay, it's time to rebrand.
Yeah. All right.
One last hijack before I leave, because I have some friends calling for me. And before you get yelled at, Soda, and before I get yelled at for forgetting,
no.
Lynn's, our second round pick,
Yes.
is a recreate as well, and a former
Okay.
knight.
All right.
and
Well,
they really wanted to come back, so we wanted to make that happen. Trash knows Lynn's pretty well. They're Latvian though, so they're not awake.
Ah.
well, I'm sure they'll wake up and be very glad that they are back in their home for sure.
It made adding roles really easy.
That's fair.
Well,
With
Okay.
that,
all
we
right.
gotta run.
Thank you, Artemis.
All right. Bye, Artie.
See you guys.
He has a very nice voice.
Yes. Yes, he does. It makes the F1 races that much more enjoyable, let me tell you.
But you know what?
Which I don't know if Off was watching, but when are we doing the next season? 'Cause I'm ready to go.
I might hop in on that,
So,
honestly.
Shout out to
I might suck, but hey, man.
Yeah.
But you know what I don't suck at is announcing picks, and the next pick is Carolina.
and
We have another center, the second center getting picked by Carolina. We have Robert Helvetica. He's a first gen by Helv 28. His strengths are offensive read and defensive read at 13, and his screening and checking are at 18. So it looks like we are going to have a very good all-around center. He's going to
7.
basically
What can you tell us
playmaking
about
and whatnot.
So Helv actually, I'm incredibly surprised to see Helv this deep in the class. was recruited by Saint and Valor, two like established members of the community. Held has a burgeoning real sports media section on YouTube. He's like a big all-around sports fan. Seems like the kind of guy that's going to really embrace the league. Already knows people involved with the league. Is comfortable doing media. Like puts himself out on a YouTube podcast similar to like what we do with Hockey Talk Tonight. And like that immediately struck me as like, hey, like this guy can get up there and talk into his webcam for an hour. Like, absolutely get him on my team.
Well, there you have it. Another person that Seven can add to his podcast that isn't a hot boy because he hasn't done it yet. So,
yeah, I haven't been about
I
it.
mean, how do you think we feel? We've been on his team. We've been asking him to be on there for weeks now, dude.
Well, to be fair,
unbelievable, dude. By the way, this draft, season 63, is brought to you in part by Hot Boys, where your boys are the hottest. Anyways, what are you gonna say?
I thought that was gonna be a Hockey Talk Tonight.
No, we don't advertise Hockey Talk Tonight here because he won't advertise us. Them's the rules.
I feel like enough people already watch HTT anyway, you know. I remember I've watched many a Hockey Talk Tonight.
All the wrong people.
Which always very entertaining. So if you haven't watched HTT,
don't go.
There's your ad.
I can't even believe you. You're gonna disrespect me and my podcast on my draft.
Yeah, because I haven't been invited.
That's because I didn't know you want to do it, but now I know you want to do it. So whatever. But
now the
next pick is up.
Looks like a
and
good one.
This one surprises me a little bit. The third center drafted, selected by St. Louis, is Matt Trace, Goomba Man. And the reason this surprises me, to be honest, is because I thought Carolina was going to pick him up, given his history there.
Which is fair, but I think that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier in the draft, right? The recreate versus the first gen. It's which do you want to bring in? 7 bringing in a first gen does not surprise me because it's more of a ad versus something.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But Gumba, I mean, great user. Last player didn't last as long as I think maybe he wanted, but I can see this one being a great addition to St. Louis for sure.
Yeah, well, it's good to see him come back, and I agree with you.
Absolutely.
On 2 parts that Goomba Man unfortunately had to like step away for a bit, and on top of that, obviously he was already gone from the Kraken, but still, and then seven is very new gen leaning as opposed to recreate, for a good reason too. But yeah, it's good to see Goomba Man get picked up, and like I do hope that he can he sticks around a bit longer.
It's very good to see him back for sure, and I'm sure Sparky is thrilled to be able to get him this low too.
But yeah, so congratulations, Goomba. It's good to see you back too, Goomba. I don't know if you're watching this. If you come back to watch it, it's good to see you. But yeah,
absolutely.
We are nearing the end, folks. We are at pick number 31 coming up.
Is that the GDI?
Do what?
Is that the GDI logo?
Where?
In the back. It showed for a second, like the back.
No, it is not. I'll show you it after the stream's over.
Oh, it's not GDI. It's the one from Generals.
No, it's not mine. Users in the chat say, "How did McGriddle go to 19?" Hey man, some people just don't like McGriddles. What can you say?
It's the thing that we were talking about. It's some teams really value those first gens, some really value the recreates. I don't think that it's anything against McGriddle because he's a great user. It's just if you've got a good first gen, sometimes people want to.
I just don't think that the first 18 teams liked McGriddle. Or like McGriddles. They just don't like him, and I can't really knock them for it. But you know what I can say, though, with full confidence is that Colorado's next pick is in. And they have selected a center, Godwin Lupercal, from the Dorito. Lupercal. I don't know, but the username is what really strikes me, and it is Dorito Mancer. I love it. He's a first gen, and his skills are puck handling and offensive read, while his weaknesses are acceleration and getting open. He looks obviously like a playmaking center. Godwin, if you are in here, I will have to recommend, I don't know if you've talked to anybody yet, always try to keep your movement related skills, I suppose, up. Because your player will suffer for it. Obviously, it doesn't seem like it because you're watching a sim. You're not actually watching your player go from line to line, so you don't really know how slow they're moving. But that has quite an effect. Even me personally, all of my skills are my movement skills are around 10 and 11, and that's not enough. For the kind of player that I'm trying to build. I'm trying to build an offensive D-man. You're trying to build a playmaking forward. I always recommend getting those movement skills up because obviously the faster you can move, the longer you can move fast, the more agile you are, the easier your player can get into position to make good plays. So, but yeah, I do kind of wonder if he's a Dorito Mancer, does that mean he uses Doritos to make magic, or he makes magic
See, my thought was he summoned. No, my thought was he summoned Doritos.
He's a Dorito.
He's a Dorito bender? Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Because I always think
well,
Necromancer with that.
So does that mean he can create Doritos, or he can only manipulate them when he's around them?
Maybe both.
I mean, if it can be both, that's kind of broken, to be fair, because you just create Doritos and then throw them out.
Hey man, it'd be like that sometimes. Not every power is equal.
Yeah, but
next is I think this is Great Falls' first.
It is, it is, which doesn't surprise me at all because their last season they had a lot of picks. But their first pick of this draft is Tim Bunnings by Baraka, and it is a first gen, and he is a right D with checking and positioning as his strengths, and his weaknesses are screening and getting open. So it looks like
more
I'd have to say a shutdown D-man because he's with the positioning and the checking, he's going to be able to get into his spots faster. And
you messed up.
Oh,
he didn't go to.
What?
7.
Just look.
Oh no.
You can fix it.
What? Jimmy,
I wasn't either.
Oops.
It's all right. It happens.
Do you want me to just say it and then?
Nah, I put it in there. You can
Okay. All right, so there it is. He's actually going to Maine. So we lied. Haha, joke's on you. I'm glad the chat is paying attention as along with Towels because he's selected by Maine and not Great Falls.
I've said enough good things.
Yeah, so there was a trade that got missed. That was 32 overall for the season 64 Maine third.
Okay.
Got it.
Thank you, 7.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
To compound upon that, Carolina is on the clock, but there also has been another trade where Detroit gets 33 overall for the season 64 Detroit third, with a tag on if they don't own it for another trade that they have out there with a conditional, that'll slide to the season 56 instead. So it's basically the same trade.
Got it. Easy enough. But welcome to Maine, Baraka. as you see, trades tend to throw people off sometimes.
Yeah, it do be like that.
that.
When you're running like a live trade like we're doing, or live draft.
It's hard, man.
It's yeah. And when you're not like the commissioner of the NBA or whatever sport that is drafting, and you can't just like yell at people to get it done, you know, it's a little difficult, but fun nonetheless. You know what else is fun is Detroit's next pick. They've picked a lot this draft, and they're selecting
they're rebuilding.
goalie Thomas Zeile. Dude, I'm American, all right? I speak American, don't know how to pronounce those names.
His last player was Zeile, who I believe he was a very good SMJHL player, but I don't believe did much in the actual SHL. But a goalie, I know Detroit needs one. They did have Everett Jansen last season, but I don't believe they had anyone else. So it's always good to have two goalies if you can swing it. But should be a great pickup. I have only heard good things about Admini. So while I can't talk about goalie stats because I honestly don't know, maybe Talls can bill me out on goalie stats at some point. But it seems like a very, very solid pick in the third round for Detroit here.
Well, there you go. So, goalies are kind of weird. And I know we've made this joke a lot before. But, like, goalies are sometimes one of those things where you can kind of just go half effort into, like building and putting TPE into, and you can still be pretty good. You can put up some numbers.
It is if there's any position, kind of like offensive line and SFL, if there's any position you can not max earn in and get away with, it's gonna be goalie. Granted, having a max earning goalie is great. When you look at people like Evok, when you look at people like Talls, they are assets for sure. But at the same time, we've done very well with Hordle. And Hordle, as he will tell you himself, is not a max earner. So, it's one of those things. It's nice to have a max earner there, but it's not as critical as maybe like a top forward.
Bless Hordle's heart, poor dude. Don't click the links, guys. If Hordle had to give any message from beyond the grave, because Hordle is dead. If he ever messages you, don't believe it. He's not alive. Hordle has passed away, unfortunately, and the ghost of his goalie is still playing for Edmonton. But
now it's
but bless his poor soul. Don't click the links, guys. But what you can click is on this stream. You can click subscribe after this draft is up. Because here we announce all of the picks, with the next pick being Nevada. And it is a right D Dragomir Fedorov by the user Morlia Spilota, first gen. He is a
high puck kick.
Yeah.
So with screening and face-offs low, which is a defenseman, I'm not surprised. So it looks like a more offensive defenseman again. I believe it's his only Nevada's second pick this
I believe it is, yes. They picked number 7. They picked Chad Nickelback, Fleesos. But that has...
And I mean, Dragomir Fedorov, as someone else with a very ostensibly Russian name, I always appreciate the ostensibly Russian names. Very, very, seems like a very good pickup in Nevada. Jez is doing amazing things over there. And I'm excited to see where that Battle quarantine goes, because I think they're going to do very well this season.
Yeah. I don't know why you don't. Why don't you like fully roleplay as a Russian? You're kind of killing my experience, to be honest.
Because I don't, dude. I'm not creative enough to do the full roleplay thing.
I think you can do better.
I'm too busy with there have been some great role players in the SHL. The main shout out on that one goes to Clean Andre. Even in voice chat he stays in character. I don't know how he does it. but it's amazing. I believe Vancouver had Narboza Many Hands, who roleplayed as like an 8-armed alien.
Yeah.
Another great one.
So we'll speak on it in a minute, but one thing that's happening is Colorado is picking, and they have picked Brynden York, who is a lefty man from Hockey Man, the Hockey Man himself. First gen, strengths, puck handling, 13, hitting 13. His weaknesses are screening and getting open.
So I'm going to say, looking at it, probably two-way. With a bit more hitting than you expect of a normal two-way, which I'm all for hitting. I love players that can just hit, right? I mean, it's always a nice ad to have as long as you're not taking penalties doing it.
Yeah.
But Colorado's had a very good draft this draft, for sure. So they're looking good. I believe they made the conference finals last season, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. But they're always in the playoffs. They're always contending. They always make it pretty far. And I think it's because they're able to draft as well as they do. And this just seems to be another good draft in the line of great Colorado drafts. So welcome to the league, Hockey Man. Enjoy your time in Colorado.
Indeed. Now, what was it? Oh, another great Russian role player is Patya Pavlov, who is Nate. And he does it on the Discord, on the forums quite a bit. And he did it a lot when he first got drafted in the Discord. He puts on like a very funny, like Russian character as well. He's a little bit more like blunt and obscene with his, like, but it's very funny, and I do enjoy it quite a lot.
One more on that is Captain Squall, Ruslan Zaporizhets, he used to play in Toronto. I think now he's on Calgary. Always posted stuff like just ostensibly Russian gifs in GM chat. Very, very enjoyable. I definitely already miss him being in GM chat.
Well, the next pick is Quebec City. Another Quebec City pick. They have picked James Fleesos. Reminds me of Yeezus by the user J Fleezy. I wonder if that is inspired at all. He's a first-gen left wing. His strengths are passing and puck handling. His weaknesses are checking and stick checking. So very offensive playmaker.
I mean, seems to be another good pick. Playmaker's always good. I don't believe any of the other Quebec picks were a playmaker off the top of my head. So it's another good positional ad, another role ad that'll be good for Quebec. I'm sure Fleezy's going to be a great long-term player for Quebec. It's such a great environment to go into. I'm not in Quebec, but I've only heard great things from people like Hordle and Mar. So a great spot for Jay Fleezy. Welcome to the league. The Owls are a great bunch.
Yeah, congratulations. So we're kind of flying by now. The next pick again is another Quebec pick, adding on to their already large amount of picks. They have selected I'm a Stud Son by the first gen user 38 Northfield. They're a lefty man, and their strengths are checking and positioning as well. So it looks like maybe potentially another shutdown D.
Defensive
because their hitting is very low, so they're obviously not focused on throwing the body around, but they probably want to be agile and stay in front of their whoever they're guarding.
I guess Quebec had more needs than I thought, because I thought they had a younger team than all these picks. But regardless, I mean, again, defensive D-man, I still feel like are the meta, especially in the J.
Yeah.
I think maybe they fall off a bit more in the SHL, but in the J, a defensive D-man can clean up and do very, very well. So this looks like it's going to be another great pick for Quebec. I'm a Stud Son is a great name,
Yeah.
and I'm sure they're going to have a great time in Quebec.
So, the next pick is from Anchorage, and they select Jarvis Jenkins, the right winger, Dat Boy Jonesy. First gen create.
Also
Yep.
another great name.
I wonder if that's a Letterkenny reference. I hope it is. His strengths are getting open and shooting accuracy. So, and his face-offs and stick checking are actually up 8 and 9 as well. So
Yeah, so I mean, it seems like it's a sniper that can that isn't
an absolute liability.
useless on. Yeah, we're not going like early 2010s Ovi. We're going like 2020
Yeah.
Ovi, which very good ad for sure. Anchorage, I mean, coming off that finals loss, I don't think they have too much retooling that they really have to do, and so far they've gotten 3 really good picks. They're going to be in position again to contend for a cup. It's one of those couple teams that just always seems like they're in contention. No, it should be a good ad for sure. So, congratulations, Dat Boy Jonesy.
Ferda. So with the draft wrapping up a little bit here, who do you think won the draft? Or who do you think comes away with the best
The ones that came to my head immediately were Maine and Quebec. I think, of course, the two classic Zerk rivals, but I feel like they both got a lot of good pieces to help already strong teams. And I think they're coming away with very solid drafts. They may not have necessarily gotten the biggest names like the Glutes and the Askelaps and Wallies. Or actually, where did Wally end up again? Hold on. Wally went to Regina. That's what I thought. Okay. They might have ended up with the known GMs and stuff like that, but I think they've got a lot of really solid players to complement the really solid teams.
So another really solid pick is Nevada. They have selected Jimmy Tuesday by the first gen Papaya Pilot, which is a funny name. I like that name. It's a good one.
We got another Jimmy.
Yeah, another named Jimmy, I guess. My players have never been named Jimmy, but his passing, his puck handling are going to be at 15 and 12, so it looks like another playmaking offensive defenseman.
That is a quarterback defenseman if I have ever
that passing is
15
astronomical.
Passing. That might be more than I have.
Yeah, I thought that even for myself, who I wanted to focus on that offensive playmaking quarterback, 15's high for me. So, but
yeah, I mean, hey, listen, it's not a build you see a lot, but it is absolutely a build that can be done right. For sure.
I definitely think that
it's a great ad.
I think that he can be a great facilitator should he keep up with his player and
if anyone's gonna know how to work a top tier quarterback into their team, it's gonna be Jess.
So I do like his name, Jimmy Tuesday, because that's actually very close to what I was going to name my my second or my first recreate, I guess, my second player. I was gonna name him Jimmy Two Shoes. So
I thought it was gonna be like a Ruby Tuesday or
I think it'd be pretty funny had we had a Jimmy Two Shoes and a Jimmy Tuesday. So.
And we had Jimmy at some
Oh, we
point,
did have a
too.
Jimmy. I remember that.
That was that was gumbo.
Because that's when I was coming back. When I was moving into recreating, and I got confused because I'd keep seeing that, and I was like, "Why is my name there?" But it was a whole thing. There's a whole scene. But another whole scene is Carolina's next pick, and they select KK Newman. By the user Sports KK1 first gen. Their strengths are shooting accuracy and puck handling. Their weaknesses are screening and hitting. So it looks like
15.
We've got ourselves a sniper. I'd almost say Dangler just because of the puck handling, but I'd have to see.
But I think the shooting
I'd have to see everything else. But that is quite the shooting accuracy, and my boy, my sweet boy Atticus, who is a master screener, is going to get so many shots thrown his way, and I am all here for it.
Yeah. Seven, you got anything else to tell us about KK Newman?
I'm really tired. No,
Sorry.
Newman seemed cool. He hadn't been around the site for the last month, but with just a couple people left in the class, I wasn't going to pull out. Want to make sure that everybody can get on a team, and if we can get, and it goes back to, Jimmy's here because I obstinately, refuse to, leave drafts early and pick up people and then, just send them dead-ass emails.
Yeah.
Give them back to the league. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that is a story I do like to tell a lot. Is Seven straight up found my email through the forums and sent me an email saying, "Hey, we drafted you. Come on over." And I was like, I appreciate the dedication, and it brought me back. So I was like,
very different stories.
Yeah,
about
so
as two people that went late, we went late very differently.
So yeah, I was like, I appreciate the dedication, and then I was like,
and then you literally tried to
die
on me.
I did.
Yeah.
I felt like I had to repay Seven for doing what he did. And then my body literally was like, no, that's too much repayment, and you're going to get leukemia now. So, and that's what happened. and I almost died on Seven. But yeah.
You didn't. And now you're
so,
back on
for now.
again.
But yeah, so next pick, Newfoundland. We have them selecting Nathan Mcmatthews at right wing. He is a first gen by Neth XNN. His strengths are getting open and puck handling. However, his weaknesses, not too bad, are shot blocking and face-offs. He has a face-off at a 7, so maybe his idea was to be kind of just a general all-around forward and fit in wherever he was needed.
That's what it looks like. And, I mean, you don't need shot blocking that much as a forward. You can only go up to 12 anyway, so it's not a big deal. No, it's a person I don't know a lot about, but it's a late round Zerk pick. And if Ham can do anything, it is hit on late round Zerk picks. So let me tell you a story about 47th overall in the season 58 SMJHL entry draft. Because that's where I went. And I would like to think of myself as a steal in that draft.
Bias just wants to talk about his own story.
Yeah, absolutely. Myself as a steal there, to the point where Jert has written entire articles about it. You can absolutely get good players this late. For sure.
Yeah.
And I think this has the potential to be another one for the Zerks. We'll have to see. I'm not sure if they're still active. I'm keeping eyes on Newfoundland's locker room to see if they jump in. But that one's got potential.
For sure, definitely. The next pick is in with Vancouver. We have them selecting Archer Hayden at left D. We have Nick Suzuki, 1-4-2-2-3-1. First gen. His strengths are passing and puck handling, and he actually put a point up in his hitting and faceoffs.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Nick, if you're around, I'm just gonna recommend you take that point out of faceoffs, because unless you will have a secret where you plan to transition to a winger or a forward, I mean, other than that, as a demon, you will never take faceoffs. So you have no need to worry about putting points into that ever.
Hey, what's up, super knowledgeable FHM guy here? As it turns out, if you get thrown out of the face-off circle, it doesn't automatically go to a winger. It just grabs the player on the ice with the next highest.
Wait, really?
Really? Is that why I've seen Pasta take face-offs?
Yep. And if nobody has any points in face-offs and they're all at 5s, it picks
Well,
one random.
there you have it.
Man, now I'm really glad I added points.
I think
to face-offs.
it's either at random or it uses something else. But yeah, it looks to see who has face-offs.
Well,
I did not know
you
that.
learn something new every day.
I'm really glad and that's why I'm glad I
Yeah, I had no idea that was a thing. Thank you for 7 being here.
That sounds like one of those FHM
Yeah,
kind of deals.
for sure.
But it seems like a good pick for Van. Like I said, Dex is great. Sven also great. I trust them.
Yep. Well, what I do trust is the next pick coming in from Quebec. Another Quebec pick. They select Joey Howard, the center, by Kayuba. Say first gen. His strengths are checking and hitting at 13.
Well,
his weaknesses are passing 8 and puck handling 8.
You know what though? That's more balanced than I thought it would be when I saw checking and hitting up at the top. But I still feel like we're going with power forward.
That is
here.
a big hit.
I mean, I love, like I said earlier, I love the hit boys. Let me tell you, Clean, Panda, it's a fun build for sure. It's niche, absolutely, but it's fun, you know.
But yeah, so yeah, and to add on to your story of like late round picks like being steals, like I'd think I'm a pretty big steal, because after my first character, like I had to leave because of leukemia, and then I came back, but nobody knew that. Everybody thought I just went inactive. So when I came back to recreate, I like 7. Oh, absolutely. 7 knew for a fact he could even traded. I think he traded back or up. I think because he knew I was gonna sit back, but he got me. He was like, "I'm doing everything in my absolute power to pick you up." And then look, I turned into an MVP finalist. So
yeah, and a future SHL or next season
on a Supermax contract.
No, you're not.
Dude, I'm leaving if you don't Supermax me.
What even is
so you don't know what a Supermax is? So a Supermax is just like it's, to me personally, I don't know what the rules are here in SHL, but it's the biggest contract that has been signed yet.
That's illegal because people used to sign like 50.
No, not lengthwise. It's money wise. So you pay me like
there isn't.
Yeah, so pay me $350 million for the next contract.
Okay, well that's above the salary.
Immediately put yourself over the cap, and then you have to cut them.
Oh man!
Honestly, you could immediately make HO make a rule for you, because even if you offer the contract, and then Jimmy accepts the contract, you're over the cap, so you have to clear cap space. The only way you can clear enough cap space would be to cut Jimmy, but you can't even cut Jimmy because the cap penalty for cutting Jimmy would put you over the cap. They'd have to just say no, you can't do that.
I mean, if it was at the point where we weren't actually trying to be competitive, I would do it.
Oh, see, I figured that was everything going on in the Pacific
Division
anyway.
But Yeah.
Well,
And then in the comments, people
I
are
was just
saying we can't win a cup with Jimmy anyways, as Carolina has proven. Let him go. Thank you, Sven.
So I was trying to trade him to
Hey,
Newfoundland.
I don't know if he's listening, but Fuzz, if you're interested in Jimmy, hit me up in the DMs.
Well, that's it, folks. I believe, Bad Wolf, do you have some words for us before we go?
Yeah, I would like to thank everyone so much for watching. It's been a pleasure. A lot of fun as always. And if anyone didn't get drafted, please send me a DM and I'll find you guys at home.
Well, there you have it, folks.
So that is
The commissioner.
Congratulations.
Yep, the commissioner
everyone.
from the J herself, Bad Wolf, from the Hot Boys Central headquarters. We have brought you Season 63 draft. We hope that you guys enjoyed it. Have a good night,
Good night,
folks.
everybody.
Bye.